get very close to the fine leg boundary. There's Irie down there, picks it up. And first bounce there to the wicketkeeper in the process. Two leg buys. And the total advances to 68 now for the loss of one wicket.
68 for one. And we are in over number 7.
Hodge. Very experienced at the Windward Islands and regional level. And this one he pulls nicely into that whitish long on area. And that's 4 more.
Well, I think it was beautifully played, bisecting the long on and the mid wicket. And he was perfectly placed and he just watched it. Was struck with some power as well.
Lovely shot there from Kavim Hodge. And really showing the intent here this morning as they're motoring along the Windward Islands volcanoes. Hodge, this time Mosi Dates, nice punching down to that long off position, and they'll sneak a second. And as if the player down there, it was definitely.
Yeah, I think Hodge had initially settled for 1. Oggy saw the opportunity, called him through, and in the end he got it very comfortably.
Very much.
But one of the things I admire so far of Kavim Hodge, you can see he's using that experience, having played at the test level, and he has really grown in stature, I would say.
Hodge to this delivery is he was looking to probably hike that somewhere over mid-wicket. Took the bottom edge of the bat, and luckily for him, didn't really spoon. And in the process, just 1 run added.
Well, it went over the head of the keeper, Asif, and they got a single. So at the end of over number 7, it's 75, going at 10.5. So good start by the Windwards. Still early days yet. And we'd really want to capitalize. So there is a changing bowling here at the southern end. He's trying to pick up the names on the back of the shirts.
That's Kumar Jha, Gulshan.
Yes.
And some pace being reintroduced from the southern end.
Right, pace replacing the other. So Hodge looks around, just trying to ascertain where the fielders are. So there's a short third man, there is a backward point, there is a sweep on the boundary, extra cover, long off, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square, and a short, fine leg.
This delivery is wide and played nicely there by Hodge. He was looking to probably get even onto that deep extra cover boundary, but it was a little square, more close to the point fielder, the backward point fielder. And 1 more added to the total, now up to 76 for the loss of 1. Gulshan moves back to his mark.
Interestingly, you note that Hodge made a few advances down the track. I think that indicates the confidence he has.
Without a doubt, Gulshan races past the umpire. And this one is wide outside the off stump and played nicely there. Got on top of it. And I think he's played more of a holding role.
And allow Hodge to do the attacking. Total moves on to 77. 77 for 1. We're in over number 8.
And Gulshan, now they're at the top of his run. And will now turn. Races in to bowl to Kavim Hodge. And Hodge is down the wicket, driving. And, well, I lost a bit of that, didn't realize it came off. Thought there was a bit of pad there, that's not the case.
Inside edge out to square leg. Total 78 for 1. Oggies comes back in strike. He's 26. Hodge on 38.
And that's going to be over the fence 6 runs.
Well, it
Well
was
struck.
in the slot, and he went over extra cover, clearing the boundary with ease. And the extra cover, orthodox extra cover, there was no danger in the shot. He deliberately played it, went all the way, got a maximum. The total rushes on to 84.
So the Windward Island Volcanoes, as I said earlier on, they're really erupting here this morning. And of course, we're in the northern part of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is considered to be red zone area, Charlo. So anything explosive is expected this morning as Gulshan races in. And this one is outside the off stump and worked nicely into that deep backward square leg position. And one more added to the total. It's on to 85 for the loss of 1. And just before the team started this morning, there was a minute silence for the passing of a late Vincentian cricketer, Dyke Cato, who would have represented St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and certainly within these parts and the northern part of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, well-known, Charlo.
A very household name here at Park Hill.
Gulshan this time to bowl to Hodge. Hodge is beaten outside the off stump. He was prodding forward and had absolutely no knowledge there. Through to the wicketkeeper, and good comeback there from
Good
Gulshan.
ending to the over, having been struck for some 8 or so runs in that over. But really coming and finishing strong. So at the completion of 8 overs with the Windward Islands, 85 for 1.
So still maintaining that 10-plus scoring rate here this morning at the Park Hill playing field. It's not the blistering sun that we are accustomed to. There's a bit of a cloud cover, but no concern with regards to rain, and a nice, decent breeze. As you see the flags in the distance, they're fluttering, and must be pleasant for the Nepalese cricketers out there. First time here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they are certainly going to be playing their group matches at the Arnersville playing field. So, new bowler to be introduced from the northern end. And that's Practice. This time we'll be bowling to August. And just a change in the personnel as far as the fielding is concerned. Player going to that deep mid-wicket boundary, and what is considered to be a sort of short fine leg put in place. So here comes Pratish. And fielder comes off of that deep mid-wicket position. One more added to the total.
So the total on to now 86. 86 for 1. We're in over number 9. And Ogisi moves on to 34 with that single. And the aggressive Kevin Hodge, who's on 38, comes back into strike.
Hodge out of Dominica, and yes, would have had that test series down under for the West Indies, where he
had a couple of half centuries.
Yes, practice. And Hodge is driving. I don't think he was looking for that area, more on the offside. Got the inside edge and rolled out into that mid-on position. Nonetheless, 1 run completed. Total advance is on to 87.
So again, we see that rotation of the strike, the right-hand, left-hand combination. Umpires moving from left to right.
Practice to August, and this one works nicely into that mid-on position. The long on is off the fence, and good return coming in, but I believe, no, the finger is up, he's run out. Calvin Hodge goes.
From the moment I saw it, I thought it was rather suicidal. Was, I think, pushing it a little too far. And umpire Butler in the right position, didn't hesitate, raised that dreaded finger. Hodge goes. I think he would be very disappointed in the way he got out.
Certainly. The ball was dropped into that mid-on position, but the fielder was quickly off the fence, wasted no time in getting that return back into the stumps.
And that was hit rather firmly as well. So it's really, I think it was definitely a suicidal single.
So the Volcanoes, they've lost their second wicket, 88 for the loss of 2. And I believe the new batsman coming to the crease should be Teddy Bishop.
Should be. Youngster, very slimly built.
Yes, out of Grenada. And would have had that one ODI for the West Indies. Unfortunately, didn't produce the runs that many, especially in Grenada, were looking for. But he has certainly a long road ahead of him and can only get better going forward, Charlo.
Well, once he's decided to do the hard work, can only get better going forward. So he would have to buckle down and really work at his game.
So Nepal will be happy with that wicket, of course. They were certainly under the gun of Kavem Hodge, being supported by Augustine, and to see the back of him, hopefully it will bring some relief to this Nepalese attack. Practice it is. Runs past umpire Butler, and one that he just hikes. That's going to sail away, and that's 6 more added to the total.
Again,
dismissive
line on the body and nonchalantly played over the backward square, and clearing the ropes for 6. And the total hustles on to 94.
94 for the loss of 2. So
they are maintaining that run, that scoring rate, that run rate above 10.
it's just so very much important. And this is a Windward Island Volcanoes team that there's no Sonny Lambers, there's no Andre Fletcher. Of course, Fletcher pretty much still part of the West Indies outfit as a fringe player. Obed McCoy, also part of the reserve unit for the West Indies, and one would not expect them to see them here today, but it's still a fairly strong side here this morning.
Pretty good lineup. I just had a word with Sonny Lambers a while. He's carrying an injury, but quite a lot of youngsters in the Windward, and have an opportunity now to showcase their skills.
Without a doubt. And we've been seen, of course, on the Asian continent. So all those people in Nepal, this is beautiful St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And during our break, we'll show you some images of this gem, as this delivery is, well, didn't get a touch. I was finding at it outside the off stump. And umpire Butler at one moment appeared as if he was going to signal a wide, but didn't do so.
Well, second thought, and he's in the perfect position. So 41 to Ogis, and Bishop yet to get off the mark.
Here's practice. And this one, Ogis is beaten and he's stumped. Is he?
Yes, he is.
Yes. And the wicketkeeper was up.
And that's the thing about cricket. A good partnership, they fall off one wicket and then the other follow. And Windward's really from a position of 80-odd for 1. They are now 94 for 3. And he has to make his way back. It's like... So it's look at Descartes coming into bat. He can strike the ball. I know that he is a powerful striker of the cricket ball as well. I've seen him in the VPL. Knows that he can really hit this ball a pretty long way. So at the end of over number 8, it's 94. 94 for 3. Eddie losing 2 quick wickets there.
Yes, without a doubt. And these two certainly will want to consolidate and, very importantly, give the Volcanoes a good total of which they can defend. As a new bowler, that's Sagar Dakal, will come in. And just worked into the offside. Fielder from that short point position comes around and picks up. And very importantly, no run added.
anxious moment. Bishop wants to get off the mark.
Here comes Dakar. And again into that cover region. Fielder comes off the copper boundary. And one more to the total as Auguste moves on to 43, is it?
His Bishop is off the mark. Auguste fell stump for 41.
Bishop, my apologies.
And it's now Descartes who comes in to strike. So there's a left-hand, right-hand combination.
And so important. We've seen that, thus far throughout this innings from the Windward Islands Volcanoes, as Descartes, stockily built, and settles over his bat as Dakar now comes in. And to this one, he's looking to hike it. There's a loud appeal and a signal wide. And I believe it was an attempt by the wicketkeeper to not have umpire call that wide.
Thought he heard a sound. That umpire, Afran Bayam, is in the perfect position.
Here comes Dakar to bowl to Descartes, and one forces him back. Well defended. Sagar Dakal. Descartes again is forced back. And getting some respect here.
Yes, a good over thus far. The total remains on 96. 96 for 3. Some 2 runs so far in the over.
This delivery down the leg side, and that's the second wide. So all of a sudden, there's a bit of buoyancy and urgency from this Nepalese team as Dakar outside the off stump, and Descartes fans at it through to the wicketkeeper. No touch whatsoever. Total remains on 97 for the loss of 3. Sagar, Dakal. And Descartes is beaten outside the off stump. And really a wonderful over there from Sagar.
Very good over indeed. Some 3 runs coming in that over. And at the end of over number 10, 97, so 9.7 runs and over, 10 overs to go. I think that the Windwards would want to look somewhere between 175, 180, and possibly 200.
Well, as I said early on, this looks like a 200-plus ground. Based on the size, the outfield is quite lush, and the conditions are ripe for exciting cricket here at Park Hill, and we'll anticipate that the Windward Islands will try to get as close as possible to that 200-run total, Charlo. Meantime, of course, preparations continue here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the hosting of 5 World Cup games. You notice that the light towers are going up at Annesville.
Yes, and going up at a pace as well. So we have all the assurance that everything will be in place come the 13th of June.
August is bold, and that, for me, was simply giving his wicket away. Head in the air, played all over it.
Swing at it, lost his middle stump. And the Windwards really, from a very good position of 84 for 1, find themselves now 97 for 4.
And really a careless shot there from Auguste. Was looking to hike in the air, played all over it, and lost his off stump in the process. 97 for the loss of 4 as the new batter's out for the Windward Islands Volcanoes. So into over number 11 as Irie will continue the attack. So it's Douglas, the new batter, in for the Windward Islands Volcanoes. Irie goes to Douglas, and Douglas works that one into that gully area was racing off for that single that certainly was not there. Sent back by Descartes. And Windward Islands remain at 97 for the loss of 4. These two will need to stick around for some time. This delivery forces Douglas back, but he punches nicely down to that long on position. He's off the mark and scores on to 98 now for the loss of 4. And we have certainly 1 or 2 spectators from surrounding areas, and as we continue to expect to see more. This one is as the batsman Descartes coming forward, just punching it into the offside. Irie fielding to his own bowling. Total remains at 98 for the loss of 4. Outside the off stump and forced into the offside. Cover fielder in Karan picked it up and got that to return quickly back into Asif, the wicketkeeper. So it's 99, and this is the th over. And this one is forced wide. You're going to get very close to that square boundary, and 4 well taken runs there from Descartes. I haven't seen a boundary for the last 10 balls thereabouts. And they're bringing the 100 up for the Windward Islands Volcanoes. They're now 103 for the loss of 4. Lost their captain very early, and then there was that nice partnership from Auguste and Captain Hodge, who unfortunately ran himself out. And since then we had a couple of quick wickets. And these two in Descartes and Dylan Douglas will certainly have to look to rebuild here for the Windward Island Volcanoes. As we see Rohit Kumar from the southern end to take up the attack. This time we'll be bowling to Dylan Douglas. Douglas plays a nice flowing drive. Fielder comes off a deep mid-wicket boundary, and 1 run in the process. 104 for the loss of 4. Descartes has already shown that he wants to get things going for the Windward Island Volcanoes. And dead ball signal there by the umpire. Certainly will have to re-bowl this one. Rohit. Descartes is working it nicely into the offside. Fielder from that point position comes in. And there's just 1 more added to the total. So following this game here today, there will be another on Thursday, then on Saturday, as Rohit this time wraps the batsman on his pads, but they've got to sneak a quick single there, and total now to 106 for the loss of 4 wickets. But just making the point that the team Nepal preparing for Cricket World Cup 2024, the T20 World Cup, and following today's game, there will be another on Thursday. And certainly on Saturday, right here at this lovely Park Hill playing field. And Rohit this time will come into bowl to Dylan Douglas. And Douglas was looking to bang that one square of the wicket. Played under, rather than on top of it. And it's into the gloves of the wicketkeeper. Total remains at 106 for the loss of 4. This time gets the bat onto it, and field on that deep mid-wicket boundaries asked to come in. 1 more run added in the process, and the total is now at 108 for the loss of 4. Descartes works it into that short mid-wicket position, and good work there from Rohit, fielding to his own bowling, and couldn't prevent the single nonetheless, but created a bit of an anxious moment there for the two in the middle for the Windward Islands Volcanoes. Total is on to 109 for the loss of 4 in wicket. We over number 12, and worked into the offside, and striking the umpire there on that right heel of his. He's limping a bit in the process. One more added to the score for the Windward Island Volcanoes. The end of a fairly decent over there from Rohit, and it's 110 now for the loss of 4 wickets. 110 for the loss of 4, the Windward Island Volcanoes. So yet another change for this Nepal bowling attack from the northern end. We have Sagar Dakal. He had a couple overs from the southern end and been switched to the northern end. As Dylan Douglas will take strike. Just some changes taking place in the field. And Sagar Dakal will now come into bowl to Douglas. Douglas plays this one. One bounce to the field in that deep backward square position, and single taken in the process. 111 for the loss of 4. Old Nelson on the scoreboard here for the Windward Islands Volcanoes. And this time, Descartes is going to face his Saga bowls and work nicely. And picking up a single in the process. Hello. Hey. I don't know if it game. Tell me quickly. Okay, somebody's upstairs. It's not the door. All right, okay. This deliveries worked into that gully position, and no run resulting. Douglas settling over his batters. Sagar Dakal comes in, and this one attempted to work it off his pads. I don't believe he got a touch onto it. Let's wait for the signal from umpire Butler. Yes, one leg by. And one more to the total. It's 113 for the loss of 4. We're into the 13th over. And scoring rate is certainly slowed up for this Windward Islands outfit. Sagar Dakar comes in and bowls this time to Descartes. He punches down to deep, long on. And just one more to the total. Showing some aggression there all along the carpet here at the Parkhill playing field. But the fielder was always in place. And just one run resulting. No run available there, and threw was quickly and missed the stumps. And that's the end of a very good over there from Sagar Dakar. The Windward Island Volcanoes, after 13 overs, they are 114 for the loss. 114 for the loss of 4 wickets. And the run rate is now at 8.76 per over. At one time they were at 11 runs per over, so the Nepal attack doing some repair work here at this point in time and pulling back the early advances made by this Windward Island Volcanoes team. Here is Douglas working this one off his pads and into that short square position, and one more added to the total. It's now 115 for the loss of 4. Bowler from the southern end is Irie, Dependra Singh Irie. This time we'll be bowling to Descartes, as just a few adjustments being made to the field. And Irie now to Descartes, and he drives down to long on. One more added to the total. 116 now for the loss of 4. And would have gotten a little bit of a bat, I believe, onto this one. Let's see the signal. And none coming from the umpire, so one more added to the Volcanoes total. Irie comes in and bowls to Dylan Douglas, and Douglas was looking to hoik this somewhere over mid-wicket. Didn't really get much bat onto ball, but did enough to get that single, and it's now up to 119 for the loss of 4. 119 for 4. And this is going to get very close to that mid-wicket position. Sampal comes around. And, well, unfortunate there, but in the end, no additional run. That one just stayed into the pitch area. Didn't get up there for Irie to collect. Quite unfortunate. But luckily there was that backup fielder to prevent any further addition to the total. It's 119 for the loss of 4. And this one is down to long on. And the Nepal fielding has been not the best. We've seen there was that one drop chance early off Kavem Hodge, and there's certainly been 1 or 2 misses in the field. As that was the end of over number 14. It's 120 for the loss of 4. And with some 6 overs remaining, some 36 balls to come, the Windward Island Volcanoes, especially these two at the crease, will be looking to up the tempo going forward. Maybe looking at a total of about 175, 180 at one point in time. 200 is pretty much on the cards. And still cannot be written off here at Park Hill. It's a fairly small ground by international standards, and still have 1 or 2 big hitters to come for the Volcanoes in the hutch. As we're now going to get some pace from the northern end. Karan looked fairly decent. He's certainly would have had his moments in his opening 2 overs. This time he'll come into bowl to Dylan Douglas, and a delivery that he pulls nicely. It's going to get fairly close, and good work down there by Jora, preventing any further addition. Just one more. So it's 121 now for the loss of 4. As Descartes just taking guard once again. Looks like a middle stump guard. And Karan. Prepares to come in. A few steps and then breaks into his strides. Pass umpire Butler. And this one is Hoyt. Long, high, over mid-wicket. That's gone. That's going to look for some bananas that are close by. And a big lusty blow there from Descartes. Taking the total now up to 127 for the loss of 4. So that was a huge hit, and that was 6 on any ground. I can say that. Descartes putting a lot of muscle into that one. And there's now that search on for the ball. It's now being returned. And that came straight out of a banana field that is close by here at the Park Hill playing field. 127 for 4. So there's Karan. A delivery that is outside the off stump. It had some height in it. Batsman was looking there at the umpire for. And now we see the signal coming. So one shot for the over. And Karan, after being struck for 6, deciding that he's going to hit the deck and hit it very hard. As Descartes settles. He runs in now. And the delivery outside the off stump, pulled to the onside. Thinking about the second run. It certainly was not there. Wickets disturbed in the process, but bat was firmly planted. And total goes on now to 128 for the loss of 4. And it's the 15th over. So this time it's going to be Dylan Douglas facing up to Karan, and Douglas drives. Lovely. It's going to get close to that cover boundary position, and the fielder gets around just in time. And 2 runs added to the total. It's now 130 for the loss of 4. But a nice flowing off drive there from Dylan Douglas. And Windward Island Volcanoes. And this is the 15th over, 130. Karan. And Douglas plays this one, finds a short, fine leg position. And fielder well placed, preventing any addition to the total. That's the end of the over. So at the end of the 15th over, the Windward Island Volcanoes batting first here at the Park Hill playing field in this practice game for the Nepal team as they prepare for Cricket World Cup 2024. They are 130 for the loss of 4, 130 for the loss of 4 after 15. A scoring rate of 8.7 runs per over. So, Sampal Kami, this time from the southern end, to bowl to Descartes. Descartes hoiks this one. He's going to be out caught. Yes. So, there is Descartes hoiking that one. And a simple catch there to Karan. The Windward Island Volcanoes losing their 5th wicket. It's now 130 for the loss of 5. And certainly, Ascarty must be a bit disappointed in that shot. Maybe was looking for that gap between the deep cover and the long off position, but found the cover fielder coming in, and Windward Island Volcanoes in the process losing their 5th wickets. So being pushed back a bit, the Volcanoes, as a new batsman comes to the crease. Darren Ned, a new batter, takes his guard, and Sompal Kami picking up a wicket in this 16th over. Now coming to Bolter Ned, and aborted his run as there were still some instructions being given, and will now bowl, and Ned etched this one straight into the glove of the wicketkeeper. Wicket number 6, well taken there by Mohammed Asif, and Darren Ned getting the golden duck here at Park Hill, and the Volcanoes are now 130 for 6, and let's hope that it doesn't all fall away for the Volcanoes. But he was forced back, and that bat was left hanging outside the off stump, took the outside edge, and wicketkeeper Mohammed Asif Sheikh made absolutely no mistake, ensuring that that one was neatly pouched in that glove of his, and 130 now for the loss of 6. So Kami now on a hat-trick. So, new batsman coming to the crease. There is Larry Edwards. And no helmet as Sammy. That's Kami, sorry. Sampal. I believe I actually had the bowling correct. Is the captain Rohit comes in and bowls to Larry Edwards, and Edwards avoids the hat-trick, and very enthusiastic Rohit picked up in that area and tossed it back quickly there to wicketkeeper Mohammed Asif. So Rohit Kumar Podel, the Nepal captain, comes in and bowls to Larry Edwards, and Edwards is in defense this time, working it back up on the offside, and picked up there by Rohit. Total remains at 130 for the loss of 6. Edwards can only find that fielder coming in, and the brakes are certainly on by Team Nepal. As Rohit now passes umpire, bowls to Larry Edward, and Edward just can only find that short mid-wicket position. That's the end of a very good over from the captain. An over in which he picked up 2 wickets, and keeping the Windward Islands in this, after 16 overs, I beg your pardon, at 130 for the loss of 6. And Nepal certainly avoiding a late onslaught from the Windward Islands Volcanoes, as we welcome back the sunshine here to the Park Hill playing field. Had a bit of a cloud cover for most of the morning. But it's almost blue skies here. There's just one or two clouds hanging here and there. As now we see both players going back to their helmet. Douglas, it is going to face this delivery and pulls at 6 runs. 6 runs there to Dylan Douglas. Total advance is now to 136 with a loss of 6. So Sampal Kami, the ball to Dylan Douglas, and Douglas is getting a one right up in the block hole and just drops it short, and they'll come back for the second very quickly. Throw comes in and it's the run out. Let's see the signal. And umpire Butter doesn't seem too interested. For a moment I thought he was gone, but a good throw coming in there from Karan, racing off the boundary and trying to first and foremost avoid the second and picking up the wicket. It didn't happen. 2 more added to the total, now 138 for the loss of 6. So Douglas is now up to 23 as bowler comes in now, and this delivery finds a player coming off of that deep square leg position, and it's 1 more to the total. 139 now for the loss of 6. Douglas is on to 24, and the new batter in Larry Edwards taking guard. As you might have picked it up in our microphone, some chattering and instructions going around from a Nepalese fielder. And now Captain Rohit asking that short fine leg to go right back on the fence. And player's going to come also onto the deep backward square leg boundary in Karan. So just some changes taking place as Sampal comes in out to bowl to Larry Edward, and Edwards is forced back, punches into the on and into the onside, and 1 more added in the process. It's 140 now for the loss of 6. And Kami forced to break his run there. He's going to go back to the top of his mark. And will now come into bowl to Douglas. Delivery that is high, straight back over the bowler's head. And that's 6.
Good morning once again and welcome to the Parkhill playing field for the second T20 game between Nepal and the Windward Island Volcanoes. And the Windward Island Volcanoes will be in the field, Nepal winning the toss and decided to bat first. And starting lineup for Nepal will be Bortel, Sheikh, Shah, Pordel, Jeha, Airy, Jora, Kami, Bohara, GC and Rajbanshi. That's the starting lineup for the Nepal team. And Windward Island Volcanoes will be Kimani Milios, Kabim Hodge, Shadrach Descarte, Nicholas Redhead, Larry Edwards, Dylan Douglas, Stephen Pascal, Darren Ned, Akeem Ogis, Otney Lewis and Asif Hooper. So that's the starting lineup in the first game. Nepal winning the first game on Tuesday by some 4 wickets. We recall Windward Islands Volcanoes got 196 for 6. And Nepal winning that game by some 4 wickets, getting 197 for 6 as well. So the umpires are out in umpires Butler and Bayom. Very picturesque ground here at the Parkhill. Not a very large outfield, and players now making their way out in the middle. As you can see, Windward Island Volcanoes going out, and here comes the opening pair for Nepal. That's Bortel, Sheikh, Asif Sheikh, Mohammed Asif Sheikh. So Bortel sported number 4, number 14 on the back of his shirt. Asif number 9. And let's see. Seems as if Hodge is going to start the attack. So Windward's in this second encounter will be starting with spin. Bortel, who will take the first knock. See, so there is a third man inside the 30-yard circle, backward point, extra cover. There is a mid-off, long on, deep mid-wicket, and a square leg and a short mid-wicket. So Kabem Hodge, left arm orthodox, he would bowl between umpire and the stumps, and he'll be bowling 2. Bortel, who is surveying the field as Butler takes his time out to square leg. So all is set, as it's going to be Hodge round the wicket, and he's working that down to long on. They threw for 1, so immediately Bortel is off the mark, and Nepal now 1 without loss as Asif comes in to strike. Hodge still bowling from round the wicket, 2 right-handers at the crease. This time he's down the leg side, not taken cleanly there. It looks like Douglas. And wide signal by Bayom. Total goes on to 2. 2 without loss. As Hodge once more in. He's looking to sweep top edge. Someone is coming wrong. And here he goes, looking to sweep that, got a top edge, slip moving around to a leg slip position, took the catch, and Asif makes his way back. So a bad start here for Nepal, 2 for 1, as Asif looking to sweep. There it is. Quicker delivery, and Bortil was on the back foot and forced it down to long on for a single. So over number 1 comes to an end. A successful over by Hodge, and a very good over indeed. Nepal 4-4-1 at the end of the first over. So it looks like Redhead going to pick it up from the northern end. Bowling starting from the southern end in bright sunshine here at Park Hill. No threat whatsoever of rain. And in fact, morning being pretty hot, pretty steamy. And the players would have to keep themselves hydrated. So it's going to be Bortel who would take strike. He's marking his guard. And as Melius trying to marshal his forces. So Redhead just from the 30-yard circle. Driven sweetly through covers by Bortel. He likes it coming onto the bat. That was pitched up. And he was in the approved fashion, driving it past extra cover, who just watched it go past him and into the fence for 4. The total now goes on to 8. And Bortel, with that, he goes on to 6. And a good comeback delivery there by Redhead. And you can see Bortel just watching it, judging it, and allowing it to go through to the keeper. Douglas standing back. Good carry to Douglas. Surface has been pretty true, and batters are comfortable driving through the line. And Bortel would like that. And a good delivery inside edge, and they threw for a single out to square leg, tidied up. So he moves on to 7. The total now on to 9. We are in over number 2. So Anil, who is on 1, comes into strike. And has good delivery. And rising, I think Anil had to pull that hand off, hitting more to the shoulder of the bat, and he's doing some adjustments to his pad, now replacing his mittens. So having been struck for a boundary of the very first delivery of his over, Redhead has come back pretty strongly and just trying to tighten things up. And he's guiding that down to third man. Lewis is down there, Fields, and they threw for a single. The total now goes into double figures. It's on 10. 10 for 1. I think 1 delivery remaining in this over. I'm sure that Redhead would want to finish very strong. And Bortil may have other ideas. He's on 7. With him is Anil, who is on 2. 1 extra, having lost Asif for a duck. And he's forcing that out to extra cover. knocked down. Once a single is not there, Descarte knocking it down. So good finish by Redhead over that cost him some 6 runs. And at the end of over number 2, it's 10 for 1. And Hodge would pick it up from the southern end. This will be his second over number 3. So Nepal within the toss and batting here. And Windward's now looking. Hodge doing some adjustments, strengthening that offside. But it is driving past extra cover 4 runs. That was tossed up. And he drove it. It was intentional in the air between the square cover and extra cover and down to the boundary for 4. Total now on to 14. And he goes on to 11. He's driving down to long on the bounce. Lewis tidies up, gets a single. Total now on to 15. And Bottle, he moves on to 12. So Anil comes into. It was Anil who had that boundary, rather. Bottle down the track, lifts it out to long on. And beautiful piece of work by Lewis down on the long on boundary. They come back for the second. So he has saved himself, saved the team 2 runs. And Hodge now acknowledging the effort there by Lewis. So both batters are on 7. And it's now Bertil who comes into strike. Bertil comes back into strike. He goes on to 9. The total now on to 17. And dead ball signal there by Bayam. And looking to sweep that. Taking on the pad, half-hearted appeal. No run. Total remains on 17. 17 for 1. We are in over number 3. Hodge dabbles his hand in the dirt. But goes Bertil out to backward point. Milias covering ground to his right. Fields no run. So a dot goes into the scorecard. And he's looking to work that on the onside. Take down the pad. Over comes to an end. Some 7 runs in that over. So 17 for 1 at the end of over number 3. So Hodge finishing his second over. So 2 overs, 1 for 11. Redhead, 1 over for 6. And he will pick it up from the northern end. So one noticeable change from the Windward Island Volcanoes is that they have left out one of their faster bowlers and they have included the off spinner. So Lewis makes his way off to get some attention, having made that save on the boundary. And it is driving out through extra cover. Mid off covering grounds very quickly, smartly fields and returns, keeps it down to a single. Total goes on to 18. So Anil with that single, he goes on to 8. And it's Bertil who is on 9. Comes into strike. 18 for 1. We are in over number 4. But he gets a yorker, he digs it out. Once a single is not there, Descarte coming in like a train from that short extra cover position. And a good delivery there by Redhead. And Bertil had to dig it out. Was looking for the drive, it wasn't there. In the end, had to come pretty hard down on it. But he's driving out to mid-off. Once a single, this could be dangerous. And he misses. That had that hit, he certainly would have been walking back to the pavilion. He goes into double figures. He's now 10, the total on to 19. Very risky single.